Hey, what's going on, everybody? Stonks here. Nothing to say is financial advice. We are going to be doing a Twitter space call soon. I'm going to start it here in a little bit on the questions that Mr. Jack McZuegel from Twitter asked Adam Aron at the last meet and greet, which was really cool that he did that. You know, he really went out on a limb. Knew he was going to take some crap from the community. And Adam Aron agreed to answer the questions the best of his ability, and both gentlemen look pretty pleased to see each other. So I'm excited to get that space call up and running here in the next 5 minutes. Overall, the market today was beautiful. We had a great day for Ape and AMC. I'm hoping tomorrow we open up above that 190 level and maintain it as the new bottom, and we will start heading back up. In that case, I think we will start heading back up to the $2 to $3 range, which would be good. And in between, I hope we get some bombshell news from Adam Aron that will take us back up to the highs that we were seeing during August 22nd. So super excited about that. Really, really motivated and positive feeling about what is happening. Get my screen set up here. Jack did tweet out everything he asked Adam Aron publicly, which can be seen right here. I'll keep that up for when he comes on to talk to us. Let me get the space call started. Okay. Hopefully we'll get some good commentary. I'm not going to keep this going all evening. The 5-hour space calls, man, I'm telling you. But we'll have a good couple-hour space call, and we'll have some good back and forth and in between with everybody in it. So tweeting it out. If you guys could share, like, sub, get it all together, and we'll start the call. Microphone. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm going to send the invite to Jack and Tara and try to get everybody in here before we start. And we will get to hear firsthand from Jack McZuegel and his questions on what he asked Adam Aron, or his responses to what he asked Adam Aron in that meet and greet just a couple days ago. So if you guys could please tweet out the call. That way everybody can see it. AMC is being suppressed insanely bad this week, which I definitely understand why, because we're up 10% on Ape and 5% on AMC today. Meme stocks going across the board. So share. Tara. Share to Zach. Couple minutes, I'll be set up here completely to Zach. In the meantime, if anybody wants to come up, talk, we'll wait for Zach to enter the room. I'm really happy with today, considering that it was all gloom and doom over the weekend from the MSM and the millionaires and billionaires trying to get retail to sell. And then we see a freaking, not just a green day, but we see a 12% green day. So Fox Business posting an article literally last night about how Bank of America says there's 20% downside. And then this morning, Bank of America posts that they had profit losses. So that's hilarious. I did tell Zach 1:30 or 3:30, so we are a little bit early. But apart from that, Credit Suisse keeps selling off assets and taking out loans, so they're probably going under, which means they will eventually be margin called and forced to cover some of their positions, which is good. Big money is losing, and that's why they're screaming market crash. But the problem is we have bought the market from them. Retail owns the market now. So I don't think this big like world-ending crash is coming. I think it's just coming for Wall Street markets, not retail markets.
What's up, Mommy? Chilling, boss. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Shit, today was great.
Yeah, I still got to figure out my exit plan on ape. I don't know what that's gonna run to. I have no idea.
I think if we grab 190 as a support tomorrow for good, I'm pretty sure we're going to end up seeing $3 again in the next couple weeks. If Adam Aron drops some kind of bullish news in between, a catalyst, we'll probably see 3 to 5. No problem. I think something big's coming.
One could hope.
It's good timing for him to drop good news, like either no, I didn't dilute any shares and this is all market manipulation, or I diluted 100 million shares and raised 300 million bucks, or some, you know. If he comes out and says, yeah, I diluted every single share and that's your share price, which I doubt happens. So I think there's more positive potential than there is negative.
Okay.
What's up, Rolano?
Hey, Spence. Hey, everybody. Hey, real quick, jumping back to Credit Suisse. News article just hit about a half an hour ago. Credit Suisse said to begin sale of the U.S. asset management arm. And I think I heard this morning that the CEO is stepping down.
Oh, wow. So that means there's some covering coming soon.
That would be my guess. I think they're trying to bail the bucket out, or trying to bail the boat out with the bucket. So,
yep, I agree. So the CEO of Credit Suisse, or the CEO of the asset management branch, is stepping down.
I'm trying to find the article. I read it kind of briefly this morning, and now I can't find it. So give me a second.
Okay,
I'll find it.
Hopefully, Zach remembered we have our call today.
Investment bank CEO Meisner set to leave the lender. Let's see. He's the head of the investment bank.
Awesome. That's good news.
Yeah, after a broad overhaul of the group, that will likely see the unit cease to exist in its current form. That's also on Bloomberg.
Last time we saw AMC run to $31 in March, it was followed a week later by Melvin Capital. I don't like putting capital in their name because they don't have any, but it was followed by Melvin Capital's meltdown. So Credit Suisse is melting down, and we know they're players in the game, and they definitely have some interest in AMC. If they start covering, we could see, and someone always knows. That's the key. Someone always knows. Maybe that's why the options chain went really bullish this week, and I think next week too. So be awesome to see Adam Aron come out with just an amazing catalyst, an amazing news drop this week. Like, hey, we actually haven't sold any ape and we're being manipulated and we're going against the NYSE, or we sold 50 million ape and that is it, and there's no way the price should have dropped that much, or we sold all 425 million and raised 3 billion. That would be amazing.
Have you reached out to him to see if he would do a space call with you, like where he can like pick the questions or something?
Oh yeah, he won't. I highly doubt that. It would be great if he did, but I don't know if I would want to do a set script anyways. I feel like I wouldn't. I feel like I would not find myself as credible if I did a set script. I'd want it to be candid and honest.
What if you sent him a set of questions and like let him pick, and if you thought the questions were reasonable, where you got your questions answered and he didn't have to say anything, he wasn't, where it was like a good compromise?
I would like it if he would just come in and just talk. Like, people, like, not even the fact that it's like, hey, man, what's going on with this and that. I'd like it if he just came in and talked and talked and just shot the shit with people, man. But if I did have to ask him questions, the first one would be, where did 43 million FTDs disappear to on APE between August 22nd and the 24th? And are you challenging the NYSE on this issue? That's basically all I would ask him.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which he probably couldn't answer, so.
Yeah, he somebody actually asked him in the, I think it was Atlanta, at the movie theater for the movie Till, uh, if he could respond to specific questions, and he said he couldn't because he was outside of a 60-day window, I think.
That's Jack, who just popped up in the speaker role here. He's the one who actually asked the questions, and I wanted to give him the floor in this space call to talk to everybody about it and explain his experience and give his side of the story. So, Jack, welcome to the call, man.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Well, I appreciate Spence inviting me to this call. I guess a few of you have seen my Twitter post. As I've stated, I met Adam Aron at the movies in Atlanta on Friday night. After the movie was over, he took pictures with anyone that wanted one with him. When it was my turn, I asked him if he was willing to answer some questions after the picture-taking session was over. He agreed, and I waited for him along with several other people. I asked if I could record our conversation, but he said no, so no recording exists. I read my printed statement to him and gave him a copy of it. That is what was in my tweet, along with the two of his comments. I had hoped to keep my picture off the internet, but ended up posting it to prove that I was there. I know it still does not prove that the conversation actually took place, but as I've stated, there were other people there. If they want to come forward and confirm it happened, they are welcome to do so. I have DM'd with one gentleman that was there for the discussion, but I have tried to discourage him from saying anything because I don't want anyone attacking him. I learned today that he was on a call earlier around 2 p.m. with Nutso Crazy Lady from the Netherlands, and he corroborated my conversation with Adam. I'm not sure if he's on this call, but if he is and would like to speak, he is welcome to do so. I'm sorry I missed his call with Nutso, but I was unable to join the call because she blocked me after my tweet came out.
She blocked me too.
Yeah. Though I don't agree with everything she and others say, I like to hear differing opinions. I learned a long time ago as a general manager that if I only have yes men around me, my business will suffer because I am too insulated. So I like to hear perspectives that challenge my ideas. I like to keep the doors of communication open. Please keep in mind that I gave Adam a copy of my statement and my questions, so he knows the truth. So who am I? I am just an individual investor that had questions for the CEO of a company that I'm invested in. For those of you that feign concern for me and my financial health, you have no need to worry. I call myself a radical retail investor because I did the most radical thing of all that so many people can't seem to do for themselves. I worked, I lived below my means, I saved, and I invested. I like to say I'm part of the FIRE movement, but I didn't exactly retire early. I was 57 years old when I did retire with a strong net worth. I live off of the dividend portion of my portfolio, and though I have 6 figures invested in AMC, it is not my largest single stock investment. My largest holdings are cash followed by treasuries now that they are paying over 4%. And I was also late to the party on AMC. I have not been here since January of 2021, like every other investor that I seem to meet. I started investing in AMC on April 16th, 2021 at $9.85 a share. I bought as high as $59.75 a share on June 18th, 2021, and I've continued to buy. My last purchase was on October 13th, 2022 at $5.95 a share. I have not sold any of my shares that I've accumulated, and I believe strongly that AMC will squeeze and will also develop into a financially stronger company in the years ahead. So I am here for the squeeze and the long term. So what questions
Awesome.
do you have for me?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for putting yourself out on the line and doing the footwork, asking CEO Adam the questions respectfully. I think you've just set a wonderful example for everybody in the community. And of course, the people who like to stay anonymous and then kind of come at you in a bad way, you come out and actually post a picture of yourself, come to talk to us. And the questions you had for Adam Aron is exactly some of the stuff I would have asked him. And he seemed rather pleased to be standing next to you at the theater.
Yeah, and he continued there. We had, further discussion. Another gentleman asked him some questions about FTDs. He kind of ignored that. We also said, I said, Adam, I only have so much money I can invest in AMC, but I'm willing to put more money into it. I've, along with many others, for over a year, have suggested sell us an NFT. I'll pay $1,000 for an NFT if it'll go towards debt. I said, I don't care if you do a virtual bake sale. If we can help you raise money, and he says, I know there's millions of you out there. He understands that we're here to support him. And, but I guess he just has to figure out logically and how they can do that.
Yeah, and the NFT sale would be a great thing, and it was one of my top things I was pushing for a while. Just until recently, the Board Ape Yacht Club came under SEC scrutiny. So now I see why he didn't sell NFTs, and I'm starting to think that him and Gary Gensler probably have a better relationship than most people realize, because Adam Aron has been a little reluctant on selling a crypto, reluctant on selling NFTs. And then suddenly Politico comes out and says Gensler's going after Ken Griffin, Robinhood, Schwab, all that. So
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, I mean, the ideas that you've listed, over the past year, Spence, have just been outstanding. I know everything can't work, but the brainstorming has been phenomenal with you and others in this group.
Thank you. And I will admit, I've grown considerably since the beginning. I've grown in experience and learning how to be more tactful in what I do. And that's partially in a very big part, and thanks to Terrible, who's coming up to co-host currently, who also supports you, Jack. I know she was excited for this call. So what's up, Tara?
I don't know. Oh, there, now it's working. It doesn't give me the option to speak. Hey, guys. Hey, Jack. Yeah, I was like the only person who believed that you were a real dude. So I had to convince a lot of people that you weren't some fake guy, like pretending that you met with Adam, I've talked to you on Spaces before. I knew you were a real guy. So, but I'm glad you're doing this to answer questions so people can hear your voice. It definitely helps in order for people to understand a little bit of background. And I don't know what I've missed so far, but thank you, Spence, for putting it together and making sure that Jack has a voice here while a lot of people want to, go out of their way to shut people's voices down. I think it's important that we allow people to speak up. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Jack, and I want to reach out and say thank you too. I never doubted who you were as well, and I'm just so happy that you made an example, or you gave an example of how we should act as shareholders and how we should move forward in the trade however we need to, whether it's asking questions or buying more, or garnering support for an NFT that will help reduce the debt. I really, really appreciate you, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ.
Hey, today looks good though. I'm not gonna lie. Like waking up and seeing some green on the market, I was so stoked. But yeah, it's definitely we all should have, a bit of smiles on our faces. I know everything's not perfect. The market is definitely not perfect, but I think that, things are looking up for us, and that's a good thing. So we're allowed to be at least a little bit happy about that, right?
Yep. When Fox News posted doom and gloom on Sunday night, and then Monday morning, they cite Bank of America for doom and gloom market crash on Sunday night, and then Monday morning, they post another article saying Bank of America losses widen. Well, they're trying to trick everybody into flying off the handle into puts, and then all of a sudden the SPY runs 3%. So I think there's really good things coming for us. And Jack, one of my questions was, how was Adam Aron? How was his mood like when you were talking to him? Was he like, chipper, upbeat? Like, did
Hey,
did you get a
Spence, really
sense of
quick. Spence, really quick. Have you done the tweet out the call reminder to people just so they don't miss it, so others don't miss it?
once? But if you don't do it, they don't do it. So
You
why don't you
guys,
do it?
if you don't tweet out the call, no one's going to see the call. I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you tweeted about AMC, we're heavily suppressed in the algos. Like anything AMC related is pushed down. So I think that if you tweet out the call, it helps more eyes see it. Otherwise, it seems to be either not on the top bar or completely hidden to the right side. I had to go into DMs from Spence in order to find this space. So I'm going to tweet it out right now, but I didn't mean to interrupt, Spence. I just wanted to remind people that that's the lovely thing with Twitter and AMC. They don't really like us. So do share the call if you can.
We're definitely being suppressed on YouTube too. I'd usually have 350 people by now. There's 210, which is still great. So hello to everybody on YouTube. Thank you for coming. And again, Jack, like how did you take his mood when you met him? Like what was the environment that you felt from it?
Yeah, he has a very calm demeanor, as what you would like to see in a CEO. Before the movie started, he got up and spoke to everyone for maybe 5 minutes. And then he said, we're going to watch previews. You're going to see the advertisement from Nicole Kidman, and then I'll be back to speak to you. So we watched probably 30 minutes of previews, Nicole's advertisement, and then he came back and spoke for about 20 more minutes. He gave the same speech that others have seen in the past, where he went back to, in 2019, we were in trouble, pandemic came, near bankruptcy, but you, the ape investor community, helped save the company, and then he, talked about the AMC preferred equity, which just happens to stand for ape, with a wink and a nod. But he thanked us profusely for saving the company and all that. And then he said, "Well, watch the movie. I'll be here for any questions or pictures that anyone would like to have. I'll spend up to 3 hours with you guys if you want to."
Wow.
So he spent quite a bit of time. Again, everybody got their picture taken with him. Most people just did that and then left the theater. Again, the one guy that I was DMing with, he said, no, there was about 7 of us that stayed around to listen to him, with my discussion with him afterwards. And there were others milling around. But his demeanor, he was very calm and, and pleasant. He was very nice to speak with.
Okay. And some of the questions, let's see here. He said he's not allowed to speak about anything for 60 days following the issuance of ape shares. So I got that part,
right?
Which is maybe an internal thing. Your next question, what are you doing to stop phantom or synthetic shares from being created? He would not answer.
Right.
Which we all know that's an issue. There's proof of that in the UBS fines that they just got from FINRA. So will you spend $37 and allow Share Intel to come into AMC and monitor stock flow? And then you handed him the letter, the John Doe letter, and he said he would not hire them.
That's right.
Which is interesting.
37,000, Spence. I want to make that clear so that others don't misconstrue what you said.
Yep. Will you support bringing Patrick Byrne on as a consultant to you and the board of directors? He said that he would not do so. So he did answer those questions. We know those are not going to happen as while he's there. I still think that for what we want to do with this movement to fix markets, that Share Intel and West Christian would probably be a good thing. But if he's not willing to bring them in, then there's obviously something going on that either A, he doesn't want them to see, or B, he's got a plan in the background with Ape that is going to do something similar, which I hope is the case. I really do. So,
Hey, Jack, can I ask, while we're on the Share Intel topic, did you see his face? Was there anything in his demeanor that may have suggested some kind of not Share Intel feeling?
It's interesting that you say that. Again, I had my statement prepared, so I was reading from the page, but I did look up at him a couple times, and he was stoic in his appearance. Because I especially wanted to see the reaction when I mentioned Patrick Byrne's name, and there was no reaction. But he just said, no, we're not going to hire him. He was very calm throughout the whole thing. There was no reaction from him.
Well, that's a good CEO. I mean, it's very difficult
yes.
to be, to have that poker face, like I used to call it at work. We used to speak to hundreds of people, and I wound up having to take a facial expression consulting thing for like 5 months because you were able to read me like a book. So it's very difficult to not have any expression. So okay, I'm happy about that in a sense.
Me too.
Because that just tells me that that he knows it all. Everything, he hears it all, he knows it all, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, if that didn't phase him and he kept his composure, then that's a really, like, to me, that feels amazing. Like, I feel so much better now. So,
yes,
I would ask it. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
I was just going to say, yeah, in a way, I was happy to see that myself. I'm sure he has had discussions about all that I asked him many times and has thought through it. And, he is a confident man. He knows what he's doing. I know he can't tell us everything that he is doing. Again, really, the most I'd like to hear out of him today would be, I hear you. And the people that are manipulating our shares are going to hear from all of us very soon. That's really what I'd like to hear from him. But, he can only say so much, I guess.
well, Jack, I can't thank you enough for doing what you did and then coming up and even, in coming out and exposing yourself as a real person, even though you really didn't want to. It means a lot to me personally because these are all questions I wanted to ask, but I never had the opportunity. We have one AMC in New Mexico, and I highly doubt he'll ever come here. I'm hoping they would do something for the Oppenheimer movie since this was where the atomic bomb was made. But if he doesn't, I can't travel state to state just to meet Adam Aron. So I appreciate what you have done greatly, and I think a lot of other people do too.
Yeah, I do. That's for sure. I just want to say thank you for putting yourself out there. And also, being respectful, asking important questions, but not being pushy or demanding. Some people take it to a whole different level and then blame us when people are acting that way. That's never the intent here. The intent is always just to get answers for shareholders, including ourselves. So I appreciate you handling yourself that way, Jack. And putting up the proof because so many people doubted that you even had this conversation with Adam. And I think it's important that, people understand that not everyone is on the same page here. Everyone has different feelings involved. It probably is very dependent on your investment size as well. Maybe how hard your portfolio is being hit right now could play into your reaction to certain situations that we've found ourselves in here. I think Sam had something that he wanted to say, so I'll cut myself off. But thank you again, Jack.
Yeah, I could say something about a little bit of each of what y'all said. But seeing my portfolio get hit, I will say that having it in computer share, I don't check it near as often because it takes too long to log in.
That's so true.
Jack, thank you so much for going in. I wanted you to know that you're supported. I tried to talk to people about DRS the other day, and I just got slammed with, "Oh, that's a terrible idea. You'll lose all your money." And the more I got slammed, the more I felt, you know what? Maybe I didn't DRS enough, because I wasn't suggesting DRSing like a large percentage. I was saying you people should think about diversifying. Take 10% of your shares or 5% and put them in DRS.
Mobility and cross-platform is going to allow you to dodge the bullet, say again, if your brokerage decides to stop letting you do what you want to do, like they did on January 28th.
Exactly.
Where were you speaking of computer share about?
I was on a different space call, and I just got slammed by every single person. It was on like a Saturday afternoon. I was doing laundry, and I just picked the first one that came up because I like he was saying, Jack was saying, I love getting as a nurse, as a fireman, seeing every point of view that I can get from every different person, because you never know when they're going to give you something subtle that will give you a key in on like something that's going wrong with them, or so it's a different way to look at the same thing, managerial versus managing a patient, but it's very similar in that you want somebody who does think differently. You want each team member you want to all be on the same page, but have that point of view. Sometimes it's something minor, like, you know what, they weren't feeling good, but we got a fan for them and blew wind across them, and that made them feel more comfortable.
Here's something interesting too that I thought of this past weekend. If everybody went and bought one share or two shares of AMC directly from ComputerShare, one, it would pull that one or two shares off the market so they couldn't be shorted. But two, you would ensure 100% that you get your proxy materials to vote for those shares. And I think if Adam Aron saw an increase in the number of retail investors because they all went and bought a share from ComputerShare, he would call foul on something. You know what I mean? There's
any idea why didn't they make it so that ape could be traded on ComputerShare?
You can sell ape and you can hold ape if you got the dividend. My personal opinion on why, and I wrote John Merriweather this, why they don't want ape sold on ComputerShare, because if we were buying ape at these prices on ComputerShare, it could offset their offering. Because right now, if you buy ape in the open market, it's probably a phantom share. But if you buy it directly from ComputerShare, you know 100% that's a legitimate share. And they might have to offload that from the offering they're doing.
Just to make me feel better and let you know that public's not as bad as it could be, I bought 4,000 shares of ape on public and DRS 6.
Yeah, if you don't, the thing with ComputerShare is people get too wrapped up in, oh, I'm going to miss the squeeze when I try to sell. Well, guess what? It's been 2 years. The same thing with people who won't transfer out of Robinhood. Oh, I don't want to miss the squeeze. It's been 2 years. We haven't squeezed yet. So just, if you're using Robinhood or Webull, you're literally paying the enemy. You're giving them liquidity. And in that, you're probably giving up your voting rights. Like a lot of people did not vote last annual, and Adam Aron made a point to make a statement saying, if you're having trouble with your proxies, you need to come in and ask our proxy agent why you're not getting them and how important the vote was, where only 45% of the retail investors voted during the 2022 annual, or 2022, annual meeting. So we know there's a proxy voting problem. If everybody goes and just gets one share from ComputerShare, you at least know you got your proxy, and then the number of retail investors is going to skyrocket, and Adam Aron is going to go, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah. I was going to speak to what you said earlier, Spence, about Adam Aron having something going on and the fact that he didn't answer the questions from Jack and how that says something.
Well, he did answer the questions. He said no to pretty much all of them.
I would say on the one where he said, I can't speak for 60 days, there's probably either some type of challenge, litigation, or he just doesn't want to give any information on the plan that he's currently executing. So,
yeah, I feel like him not choosing other avenues is either he's already got something in place or that he has, because I feel like in the past, he is very communicative to the community on Twitter and he is decisive in his action. And he's 3D chess, at least 3D, if not 4D. He's pretty remarkable in his maneuvering around this market.
From what Jack said, he seems very confident in what he's doing, which makes me feel very good, knowing that the body language of our CEO matched his, verbal language, which was a really good thing, and his very direct answers. Yes, no, I can't.
Jack, I was going to ask you one thing about your conversation, and I think I already know the answer that you're going to give, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Did he ever break eye contact with you while you were asking him questions?
No, he did not.
That should tell you confidence.
Yes.
A good CEO makes very good eye contact, and you will almost always break eye contact with a good CEO before they do.
That's right. Yes.
And it's very hard to lie and continue to make that eye contact. So that makes me feel good too.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of retail investors who don't get to meet and see Adam Aron. We can only go off of what we see in video and online, and he's always portrayed confidence. But to hear somebody talk about his body language and his eye contact, and that it was confident, and that his responses were stoic, and that he was very direct, is a very, very good feeling for me that he's most definitely got something cooking. So,
and I will say there were the other members that were there, investors, that I spoke to before we got to talk to Adam. Were most of them were very timid, and he's the CEO. We shouldn't challenge him on anything. I said, well, I'm an investor. I have questions. We'll see what his responses are. He can either not answer me or he can give me an answer. Maybe it's I have a background in finance. Decades ago, I worked as an internal auditor at a let's say a Fortune 200 company, and I had an office across the hall from the CEO. So I'm not intimidated meeting that level of executive. I think it's helped me. But yes, I have a lot of confidence in Adam Aron.
That's what I told PJ when you posted your photo. I said, Jack looks very experienced in what he does, and he looks like he's confident in talking to Adam Aron, and that gave me more confidence. So, man, again, I appreciate what you did so much. If I could have done it, I would have. So you doing it, I think, even if you doing it instead of me was absolutely a way better outcome. So
I was going to say, I think, the maturity level of Jack and him, showing up as a shareholder, I think it was a big deal. I see Davis has had his hand up for a bit. I don't know if he has a question for Jack.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Finally changed my username. This is Aurelius. But yeah, Spence, I was just wondering, you talked to John Merriweather?
Just by email.
Oh, okay. Wow, man, that's pretty cool, dude.
He's responded to a few of my questions and comments. It's more or less that's just what he does as the PR section of investor relations. I don't have a direct relationship with him.
But do you know who John Merriweather is?
Yeah.
He's involved with GME or AMC?
Yeah.
But do you know his other dealings? Yeah, he's
no, not what else he does.
I don't know if
who's the one that does the Fortnite stuff?
John Merriweather. If we're talking about the same guy, worked at Long Term Capital Management, and I think he worked at Solomon Brothers. I don't know if this is the same guy. Maybe it's just a coincidence. He's a pretty famous guy for people that study markets and read a lot about markets in general. So if somebody's well read, they know who John. But it might not be the same guy though.
Yeah, unless I missed saying his name because I'm having a.
So the John Merriweather I think you are referring to is significantly older than this John Merriweather, I believe.
Okay, so it's just a coincidence then.
Yeah, John Merriweather is the vice president investor relations for AMC Holding. And if you email investor relations with a legitimate question, usually you'll get a kickback. I don't know if they're the same person or not, but I do know. I didn't know if it was involved with GameStop or not. We have somebody on the board of directors at AMC that's very involved in like the Fortnite brand. So,
all right, man. I didn't mean to derail the conversation. I was just curious. I heard that name, so I was just like, I had to know.
I think it's two different spellings. I'm pretty sure the one with AMC has two R's. The other, the one that you're referring to, I believe, has one R. Merriweather.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna hush up. I was just curious.
okay, yeah, John Merriweather is one of those big hedge fund executives. They're different people. Thanks though. That's good clarification. So,
Hey, Spence, I heard from somebody today saying that Disney is coming out with earnings on November 8th, and that I had asked Adam Aron, I said, so we'll hear from you again on November 8th? And he said, well, I don't know if the press release is out yet, but it's somewhere around that time frame of when they'll release earnings. So he wouldn't commit to November 8th. But I heard somebody say to me today that they heard Disney is coming out with earnings on November 8th and that AMC is also.
Yep.
So could there be a deal in the works with them? Maybe.
I made a video a long time ago about a deal with Disney and AMC. And historically, our earnings are on November 8th, but we also have midterms popping off, so that might derail a bit. The interesting thing is November 7th, there's 3 bonds that are callable, meaning Adam Aron can go and buy that debt back, which I was hoping he was going to do with the ape money he raised, if he raised any, if he's even sold any. But if our earnings are November 8th and Disney's is November 8th, the relationship Adam Aron has with those executives is pretty good. And I would love personally, since Disney started doing the Disney Plus days at AMC theaters, I would love to see Disney do a joint venture with AMC theaters, if not even buy them out, do a joint venture with AMC theaters with the AMC On Demand and the Disney Plus platform, where if you purchased a AMC Premier, AMC A-List, whatever membership, the AMC Stubs program, you purchase that, you get a discount on your Disney Plus membership, you get a discount on all Disney movies, and you start earning rewards points that Disney has for their branded credit card. So hopefully, man, I don't know. I would love personally, just me, the price is low right now. I would love for Disney to come out and announce an acquisition of AMC theaters. And then you have AMC Disney theaters. They could put their Disney stores inside the AMC theaters. You would bankruptcy would be completely off the table. Nobody's going to take Disney down. And then you also have all the Disney production studios coming into play. So
it's a cool idea. They have a huge theater in Disney Springs, but it also kind of scares me just Disney having this monopoly on movie theaters is a little bit sketchy, but who knows? We'll see.
Better than Amazon.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
I don't know, to be honest. But, Adam has mentioned many times about, theaters and streaming coexisting. And I think that's really probably makes the most sense in sort of what he's lining up there. And now seeing Netflix putting a movie in theaters, not just AMC, but all the theaters is a big deal. So I think that, with everything, the piracy pandemic kind of sort of hit hard. And I think a lot of studios suffered greatly with, paying way too much to create content versus the benefits when it was going directly to streaming. Their movies were going directly to streaming and people could watch it for free. So movie theaters obviously alleviate that problem because no one wants to watch a cam version of a brand new movie. which is all you get if a movie has a window where it's only shown in theaters, especially that 45-day window. I think it's huge.
So this is just on Ape. We just closed. Markets closed. Ape, right at the end of the day, 750,000 shares, and then another candle of 548,000 shares dropped us how many cents? Oh, that's the SPY. I'm sorry. That makes more sense. I was like, where did 7 million shares come from out of nowhere? Never mind. I'm dumb. I'm watching the markets really close this week because, like I said, the poor reporting and poor news that came out Sunday night saying the market's going to crash to see the SPY gap up 3%, in the morning is a perfect example of why Fox News, besides Charles Payne, has zero credibility now. It's just disgusting. But the SPY ran up 2.8% today, held. RSI reset and MACD's flipping back over, so I'm wondering if we're going to gap up again in the morning. That would be great.
Hey, Spence, I got a question. They got some stuff I seen that's floating around. I was just wanting your opinion on it. I'm not for the DRS or against it. I mean, that's whatever anybody wants to do, they do it. But there's some stuff that was floating around that if you DRS your shares, that it really lets the brokers off the hook, and then the company itself becomes liable if so in other words, AMC would be responsible for these shares in some sense, is what I understood. What you know anything about that, or you heard anything?
Why would it let the brokers off the hook? Because the brokers are selling IOUs, basically.
Well,
so if you direct register a share, it would actually force them to cover that IOU and or force a naked short to cover. So the market makers sell a phantom share to Robinhood. Robinhood gives it to you. It's basically an IOU, but then they loan it out to a hedge fund who is now a naked short and doesn't know it. So if you DRS that share, you're actually effectively taking two shares that are fake of selling pressure off the market. Because check this out, go to AMC and go to the daily. When we started doing our DRS push back in May, which we got a lot of people to DRS, we saw nothing but upward price movement until that movement started falling off again.
Yeah, so but I mean, and I mean, in the sense, what they were saying is, I guess because you take it out of the broker's hands. So you know exactly what I'm saying is that, okay, a lot of these brokers, okay, are giving you IOUs, right? So in the sense that you take it out of the broker's hands, okay, and you put it in DRS, yeah, you have the certificate and everything. But in a sense, in the way I understood it is that now, instead of the broker being responsible for this share, it turns back onto the company of AMC itself. Now, like I said, I don't really understand, and that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that's not, the AMC doesn't incur the cost for the IOU. What happens is there's the legal amount of shares out in the market, which is the outstanding, and then there's the illegal shares that they've been selling for years, which is the phantom shares or the illegal outstanding, right? As they sell those and we buy them, we dilute our price. Phantom shares dilute the stock price. That's guaranteed. You can read it in the overstock stuff, in the FINRA filings, everything. What happens is when you DRS a share, say you take shares from Robinhood and DRS them, you now force Robinhood to go out in the market and find a real share. That's what happens. And then if they loaned your share out to a short seller, the share you just DRS, they have to recall that. So you're actually closing, you're potentially closing an IOU and a naked short out at the same time for every share that you direct register. And in that, your share you just did register can now not be shorted and it can't be lent out?
So Toby, so that I can make it even less clear, I heard something very similar, but instead of them saying the broker dealer, they said the DTC would be off the hook. But what it does is exactly what Spence is saying. It takes that share that they put like 7 or 8 IOUs and resold into the market or done whatever they've done to create all these extra phantom shares and actually takes it out of the market. So now instead of having 90% of the market have shares and then like 180% or whatever of phantoms, one more share of that is completely removed from the market. So now they have more risk.
And here's the funny thing. These brokers like Robinhood and E-Trade, I get nothing but DMs about how Robinhood and E-Trade and TD Ameritrade give retail investors so much trouble for wanting to DRS their shares. Because what it does, when you direct register a share, computer share goes to the DTCC and takes that share from them and puts it directly on the books for AMC. So imagine this. There's 2 billion synthetic shares out there. Let's just say 2 billion, which is, I think, a pretty conservative number. If 90% of retail decided to do 10 to 20% of their AMC shares and it actually logged the float, Adam Aron would have the reliable evidence he needs to go out and say, you guys have sold phantom shares in the market, meaning there's a ton of naked shorts. We would like to recall our stock from the DTCC management due to no faith, which would force every short, every naked short, and every institution that sold a phantom share to cover them, causing the squeeze. It's all about logging the float. It always has been.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I understand all that, and I guess, I mean, it is what it is. I know everybody's looking for catalysts, which I don't think there is any catalyst out there. I think as long as they're making money on all this, they're going to keep it doing what it is. I remember you speaking about this some time back that, you know, people need to stop and not so much say stop buying it. You know, everybody wants a piece of the action.
Right.
But as long as we sitting here buying phantom shares, we financing everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, until they stop making money on this, I mean, we can all look for catalysts. I don't think there'll be a catalyst. Like I said, once they stop making money on it is when you're going to want to see the price rise.
And that's what's getting ready to happen, in my opinion.
I agree.
With the issuance of ape, Adam Aron has a chance to corner. So what I call ape, if Adam Aron sells ape into the market, say there's billions of synthetic ape because there was billions of synthetic AMC. I call any shares that Adam Aron legally sells into the market resurrection shares. What they do is when he sells that legally issued share into the market, that market maker that sold that phantom share to generate the endless liquidity, that phantom share goes to a broker. That broker loans it out. It's naked shorted, and that's where you get your rehypothecation. And it's really, really bad for the market. They have dug themselves a multi-trillion-dollar hole by selling shares that don't exist. The only way for them to get out of that hole is to buy a legal share from the company to issue to that broker to fulfill your IOU so they can fulfill that naked short. I call them resurrection shares because they bring those phantom shares back to life by giving them the originating buying pressure. When they sell a phantom share, there's no origination on buying pressure. So it's pure selling pressure, which dilutes our stock price. Every phantom share we buy, we dilute our stock price, but it does dig that hole deeper for these market makers and these brokers. So,
all right. Well, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Toby. Appreciate the question, man.
I'll go to a different point too, though. They only make money for the payment for the order flow. They don't actually make money while it's down. They have to close out to make money.
Yep.
So they are actually just losing money. So I don't like for people in the community to think that they've made this tons and tons of money. They make money when we buy options.
Yep.
They make money when they pay for our order flow.
And that's
kind of it.
just they're getting ready. I'm telling you, yesterday some people reported that retail investors had bought over $19 billion in puts against the market to prepare for the market crash, which if you're hedging, good for you. But as soon as I read that, I said market makers and big money are going to flip long now because they lured retail into all these puts. We saw the SPY bounce a double bottom, which even surprised me. I wanted the SPY to go to 330, but when I saw that, I said, we just bounced a double bottom, and we've had, let's see, from December 21, which was the all-time high, to today, we've had 6 major events. We've had the all-time high, an extreme drop, a pump, an extreme drop, a huge pump, and it repeated that 5 times. We're getting back into that phase where we're getting ready for another large pump coming up, which I think is going to take, personally, not financial advice, this is just me, my opinion, I think they're going to try to push the SPY back to 400. I say that because this market crash theory isn't for retail. It's for the street. The banks are underwater. The market makers are underwater. The hedge funds are underwater. But we're not. We're buying the market out from underneath them. They're going to be irrelevant in another 2 years. Our cash is 100% non-leveraged, mainly cash accounts, and people are holding and continuing to buy through this dip. So everything from the pandemic crash, which was, say, March 18th was the very bottom, everything from there all the way up to 474 in December and January of 2022 for January, that was nothing but retail money coming in and pumping the market. And the market makers loved it because they were flipping positions and they were selling more securities. That everything in between there is basically them selling securities they didn't own, which means if Citadel had 65 billion in securities sold, not yet purchased in 2021, their new balance in 2022 is probably past what their asset class is, meaning they're over leveraged, and everyone is getting close to margin calls. Now imagine this. All these people betting against us, the banks, the market makers, the brokers, they all get margin called. That means they got to cover the stocks that they sold that they didn't own and the ones they're naked short, meaning we go up. So this market crash scenario, in my opinion, is not for retail. It's for the street. And I would bet good money in 2 years, you will not see major hedge funds anymore. You're going to see everybody investing on their own in small little groups or individually. And these big money market makers and these big money hedge funds are going to go away as they try to implement blockchain markets.
Leading more credence to your thoughts about it going to 400, I actually kind of agree. I believe statistically, the markets always move up before November 5th. From like the very end of October until November 5th, they always move up. And the reason why is the people that are receiving the money from corporations, from these big financials, from BlackRock, Vanguard, banks, they're getting it from both sides because they don't care who it is, because they want full control. They want to buy the Republicans and the Democrats. They don't care who they buy. They just want to buy everybody. So and they need for the markets to do well before the election so that those people can go out and say, we did so well, the things are turning around. But in reality, if they didn't do what those people wanted with donations and moving the market up right before the election, it's against what they want. So they almost always move it up before the election. So I feel like that's one of the reasons it's 400 is probably a good next bounce.
And personally, in my opinion, I don't care if you're left or right, it doesn't matter. I think November, you're going to see a sweep. Conservatives are going to take over, Republicans, whatever you want to call them, the left and the right, the House and the Senate. And what they're going to do is they're going to get these new leases on energy out in the open, and they're going to approve them. They're going to get energy production back up, meaning as the supply increases for fuel, all the costs for everything across any product line is going to go down. They're going to fix supply and demand on energy. It's going to fix supply and demand for consumer-based products, which is going to lead to a reduction in inflation, which is going to lead to interest rates coming down. And then you're going to see silver and gold go bananas, which is going to make your Highcroft investment value up, which is good for AMC. And I think this is all coming because this inflation was purposely manufactured. The markets were in deep doo-doo from 2008 all the way until now. I think this was manufactured to try to cause a new crash, to take all this retail money that was given to us by the government to clear the debts of all these banks and all these institutions who leveraged on mortgage-backed security products. Well, guess what? We decided we weren't going to sell at lows. We decided we were going to just continue to buy nonstop like freaking crackheads. And now we own the market, and they know that. I think the next 6 months for the market macro is going to be pretty bullish. And I also, unless there's some type of nuclear event or aliens come down to check our sphincters, but I do believe that AMC, BBIG, GME, Highcroft, all these other meme stocks in this basket are going to see some pretty impressive gains coming pretty soon because margin calls are definitely on the way.
You know what scares me though? I feel like I haven't heard anything about Evergrande, and that's still so big. It's 2% of the Chinese real estate market, and they are actually bankrupt.
And the important thing about that, Sam, is there are a lot of Chinese investors who came to the U.S. and bought properties, especially in California. Now, if the CCP was paying them to do it and Evergrande defaults and the Chinese economy collapses, which they've just delayed their economic data that was supposed to come out, they delayed it. That's a tell. So now you're going to have a housing issue in America where the Chinese have been buying houses in high density areas for overinflated prices for years, which is not good for those areas in California, hell here, Albuquerque,
Austin.
When these house prices start to devalue and foreclosures hit the markets because they've run out of money, especially with the US dollar going through the roof, that could cause margin calls across the spectrum for mortgage-backed security products again, which we know they're over leveraged on. Again, the volatility index went through the roof, and Canada is having a massive problem with housing right now. Japan is currently giving away free houses to their citizens because no one will buy them. There's too many, and or they've just lost their money. So it's just crazy what's going on.
While I got a chance, I wanted to tell Tara two things. One, thank you for being really both of y'all, for being so consistently putting information, getting people together to be a part of the community. And then two, I don't know why the algorithm does it, but you are like the only person that, I see every single tweet that you have. Every single one. So I try to like and comment on them all because I'm not looking for you. You just show up. So it's like completely against the algorithm.
Tara probably heard me ranting and went off to go do something. She doesn't like it when I rant.
Yo, Spence.
What up, dude?
I want to do some DRS. I want to do a few of them.
You know how to do it?
No.
Go to computershare.com.
Oh, okay. Computershare.com. Register?
Nope, don't register. Go to computershare.com and right on the front page, click the button that says make a stock purchase.
I'm going to make a note of that.
They'll set your account up while you're buying your first shares. They don't want you to have an account unless you're going to hold shares.
Okay, computershare.com and make a purchase.
Yep, it'll say it right on the front page, and then you'll just pick AMC. You'll go in, it'll tell you the minimum purchase amount and the little commission they charge. And then you'll put all your information. You'll pick if you want to do it. Go in, click that, make a one-time purchase of AMC. Just buy a couple shares, and then you'll put your information in to set up your account while you're buying them. And then you'll start getting confirmations for the next 7 days. And by day 5 or 7, they'll send you a verification email, and you can log into your account. just buy a couple shares for now, just to see how you like it, and then when you can log in and manipulate the platform, you'll like it, and you'll probably buy more.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do some just for the fuck of it.
perfect.
You're guaranteed a proxy if you do. So
that's what I'm doing it for the proxy.
Sam, sorry, go ahead.
He's gonna have questions when he goes to try and DRS. It is not uncomplicated. Spence has on YouTube a very good video on how to DRS. I watched it about 5 times and it was very clear. His video, the process is not clear. It's not a user-friendly, easy, one click, you're done process, but it is worth it.
Yeah, it's a little you would think when you want to buy computer shares, the first thing you would think you would have to do is register for an account. It's actually backwards. First you go in and make your stock purchase, and while you're doing that, you'll set your account up, and then you'll start getting all kinds of emails and text messages for like 5 days, and then by 5 to 7, you'll get an email to verify. You'll go in, you'll log in, and you can see your shares in there, and it's a really clean, simple setup once you're logged in. But you'll also start receiving these little brown envelopes in the mail with the big AMC logo in the window. That's ComputerShare sending you verifications and information. But you are guaranteed, for as many shares as you direct register, you're guaranteed a proxy, and you're guaranteed to get any dividend distribution first. And that's the best thing about it. And Adam Aron even said, all 4 of my brokers did the right thing, which one of his shareholdings is with ComputerShare. When they file their 13Fs, they hold those shares on book. So Adam Aron coming out and actually saying, yes, 4 of my brokers actually did the right thing. That's also him saying, I know these other brokers did the wrong thing. And I think he even said, including Fidelity. I don't know if he said Fidelity or not, but I know ComputerShare is definitely one of them. Jack, what's up, man?
Hey, Spence, I see that AMC Trapper is up as a speaker. I think he might want to have something to say. If you could bring him up, or if he can unmute himself.
Trapper.
Yep, he's got the glowing green eyes there.
I'm not seeing him.
I gave him the mic a little while ago, but I don't see him right now.
I know he was at work, so he was on and off, I think.
I would tell him to drop off the call and then come back in and hit the request to speak button. And if I can't see it, then I'll send him. Wait, there he is. There he is.
I don't think his mic works.
You there, bud? He must be in a, yeah, barely. What's up, man?
I would just wanted to confirm that I was there with Jack when he had said when he asked the CEO the questions, and yeah, he basically everything he said he was 100% on. Adam also said that we have, Jack could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he said we have a lot of announcements coming out towards the end of the year or Q4, something like that. So to me, what I got was we're going to have announcements coming out back to back. I don't know if Jack got the same thing, but that was the feeling I got.
Thank you for corroborating. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that.
And then he also said the reason he hasn't talked about the FTDs and the reason he went silent is because of the 2 periods that he can't really say nothing. So when ape was dropped, and then the period before earnings, he's not allowed to speak. So that's why he kind of went silent.
About that too.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to confirm.
Appreciate it, man. Much appreciated. General, go for it, man. What's up?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, I want to present a couple analogies to everybody. I'm going to assume everybody knows who this guy Elon Musk is. by a show of hands or whatnot, that'd be awesome. If you don't know, he's the richest guy in the world, and he's advocating to purchase Twitter. I think we all know this. This is generally what people do when they're trying to take a position of authority within a company, whether it be a board director seat, whether it be a CEO position, whether it be the president of the United States or any type of senator, congressman, what have you. What they do is they advocate to the people, the constituents or the shareholders, why it is that they are best suited for that position, for that job, what it is that they intend to do with the company or the country to make it better. That's what a reasonable person would do, and that's what a reasonable citizen or shareholder would expect. So I commend you, Jack, because number one, whether you have $1 in AMC or you have $1 million in AMC, you are a shareholder, you are an owner, you are a citizen of AMC, and you have a right to question how it is that the management intends to make your investment better. And that's what I want people to understand across the board. You're not just trading paper, you're not just trading stocks, you're actually contributing a partnership with the company, or I'm sorry, contributing a partnership with your fellow shareholders as owners in a company, meaning you have a voice, you have a say, you have the right to question. You should have an expectation of knowing or hearing what it is your CEOs or your board directors intend to do for your investment. That shouldn't be an unreasonable expectation. You should all want to hear that. Whether you are living in an AOA community and you have multiple, co-ops or townhome, homeowners with you, and you're speaking to your board of directors of your community association, whether you're a shareholder in a corporation, you are the boss, and your executives are working for you, and they should impress upon you why they should keep that position. Now, we've been in this play for about 2 years, the majority of us, whether it's January or whether it's April of 2021, you guys have been around for about 2 years. I have yet to hear an annual shareholder meeting where anybody from the board of directors has stepped up and said, hey, this is my name, and this is why I feel you should vote for me. This is what I intend to do to make AMC a better place. They have become too complacent with the idea that we work for them, or that we're too ignorant to realize that they work for us. And that's where we need to actually elevate these conversations to remind them they work for us and they really need to impress us. That's what I gotta say. I'll close it out with this. If anything I said was wrong, Elon Musk wouldn't be tweeting about wanting to bring freedom of speech to Twitter. He wouldn't be tweeting about all his gripes about Twitter. He would just buy it, he would do what he would want with it, and everybody would have to shut up. But he engages with people because he's trying to do the right thing. And I think every CEO out there could kind of take a page from his book of what his experiences have been dealing with short sellers, and how being vocal and exposing these things, bringing them to light, is the best way. And please, if you all don't mind, I posted up in the top on the second and third post, I shared with you folks about a 4-hour rant that I did a couple days ago on my Twitter. It's pinned to the front of my page. If you can read it, like it if you like it, and share it, because the algo suppression is real.
Oh, I was just telling Tara that today, that AMC across the board from people I follow was suppressed like crazy this morning. And even my YouTube was probably about 30 to 40% less active than it would be at any 1 minute. So I feel like just in the past couple hours, that's kind of been lifted, which is really strange. Almost like they're trying to suppress AMC, GME, stuff like that at times when we run, so there's no FOMO events.
Well, market hours are closed. We're only in after hours, and the large majority of shareholders can't trade after hours unless they have a legacy account. So that could be a reason too.
They have to turn on after hours trading. They just, it's, for me, I think it was a form, and then they gave me a button. And
Well, the interesting thing is Fidelity doesn't let you trade pre-market until 7, and any retail stocks always run, or they were when things were really volatile. Every stock would run before 7. It would run up until about 6 a.m. and then it would drop right before 7, so you couldn't sell at the high. It's hilarious. I watched it for like a year. So, Tony, what's going on, man?
Hey, Spence. Thanks for having me. I just have 2 quick questions that could probably be answered in a minute or less. I'm a Canadian that owns both AMC and Ape. Do I have to DRS?
So I don't know. I've got to call ComputerShare and ask how Canadians and Europeans can DRS. You guys have a completely different market where I don't even think naked shorting is allowed in any form or fashion.
Not in Canada, I believe.
Yep. So I'm not sure DRSing for you guys is necessary, but I am trying to get ComputerShare on the line to ask them how you can DRS AMC shares from outside the U.S., and I'll be posting that before Friday.
Perfect. And my second question is very simple. Could you, in layman terms, explain what's... Hello?
You there?
Yeah. Could you... yeah, sorry. I thought I lost you. Could you explain, please, in layman terms, what's a PFOF, or what's that acronym again?
Payment for order flow?
Yeah. Could you explain what is that exactly?
In the wonderful country of Canada, it's illegal, where it should be illegal everywhere. The United States uses it. So what happens is these market makers like Citadel will pay Robinhood money for your order to fill it, meaning they can make fractional profits from filling your order without best execution, but it also allows them to front run the market. If they go to Robinhood and buy every single order on Robinhood every day, then they know where retail is trying to put their money, meaning they can front run the market. And 80% of payment for order flow money that goes to brokers is for the options chain, which we know the price fixing on the options chain is insane. So basically, the market makers buy your order and your data, and they use it like a crystal ball to front run all of retail trades.
I see.
And they can short, they can go long, they can do it moments before any action happens on any stock. It should be illegal across the board.
Wow. I see. That's why I'm paying, like, with TD, with my TD, I'm paying like $10 a transaction. So I know I'm getting a legit share in whatever company I'm buying.
You're paying a commission, which I would personally like if we went back to commissions and payment for order flow was disbanded completely.
Thank you. Thanks a bunch, Spence.
Thank you for the question. Okay. I did not have a big, long, super big space call planned. I really just wanted to hear from Jack and have a general market chat. If anybody has anything they want to say for the next, we'll say, we'll do the next 20 minutes or 10. If nobody has anything, feel free to go ahead. The floor is open.
Okay, I'll reiterate my analogy that I gave a couple days ago. If you have a concert, well, let me just put it this way. AMC, because I have a video coming out. I haven't posted it. I made it about 2 days ago during the Pride Parade in Hawaii. And I was thinking about whether I really should post this or not. And I've watched it maybe a half a dozen times, wondering if I should. But I'm just going to say it over here first to kind of feel you guys out, because I'm worried the information is going to be lost in translation. So AMC, everybody knows what Fandango is. Okay, Fandango sells movie theater tickets from different companies. Okay, so AMC contracts or licenses Fandango to sell their movie tickets. If Fandango sells 1,500 tickets to a theater that only has 500 seats, and they're keeping 1,000 of those tickets profits in their own pocket, what do you think would happen? Well, I'm going to tell you, 1,500 people are going to appear at AMC theaters to try to get into a 500-seat auditorium. And then you're going to have chaos because who's got a real ticket and who doesn't? How is AMC going to determine who can actually sit in those seats? It's going to be chaotic. Okay. So what happens is, you know, burn me once, shame on you, burn me twice. You know what I mean? What they would have to do in a situation like that, if they realized that, hey, Fandango is out there selling 3 times the amount of tickets that we've authorized, and they're pocketing the profits. We're only getting 1/3 of the actual revenue that they're securing. We only have 500 seats, but 1,500 are out there. This is chaotic. What would they do? Well, they would terminate Fandango. They would sever that relationship with Fandango to authorize them to sell those tickets. And so what do you do next? Well, do you hire the next third party to sell your tickets? Maybe. Maybe you run into the same situation. Maybe it's industry-wide across the board. Maybe it's Fandango and every one of Fandango's competitors that are doing the same thing, selling synthetic tickets to movies. Who knows? So the solution would be this. AMC stops selling tickets through third parties and sells them only through their own website, through a blockchain, or through the front box office, whatever it is. That's how you solve the problem. You control the ticket distribution through your own hands. You don't contract that out or license it out to parties that are going to become corrupt. Now, if you don't see where I'm going with this, I'm going to just spell it out for you. Fandango is a is a market maker. They're a brokerage house. They are TD Ameritrade, they're E-Trade, they're Robinhood, they're Citadel, they're Susquehanna, they're BlackRock. That's what Fandango is. The tickets for the movies are your shares of AMC. The patrons who bought those tickets for the movies are shareholders. And your value is what's lost when you can't get a seat inside of a theater to watch a movie you planned on watching with your kids. Your value is lost when you don't have a real authentic share to sit in the shareholder meeting and cast a vote for how you want to see this company move forward. And so I respectfully ask all of you to, again, retweet and like the post that I put out there, because what needs to happen, the only way that there's going to be a change is if we pressure the boards, pressure the CEOs to recognize we know our own personal values. We know who we are. We are owners of a company, and we are holding them accountable to make efforts to sever these relationships that they have with these brokerage firms, with these market makers, and start distributing shares of AMC themselves through blockchain or through their direct-to-consumer websites. That is the way that is going to make this move forward faster. If everybody just waits for the police to come to your house if it was robbed, well, good luck. The police are never going to come. It doesn't matter that it's illegal for somebody to break into your home and steal your TV. You need to actually call the police. And if the police refuse to come out and do their job, well, then you need to start looking at measures yourself on how to safeguard your television, your home. And in that analogy, the police are the SEC. We are the ones that have to actually initiate the SEC to do something. They're not going to just do it on their own because they know it's happening. There needs to be a complainant. And if the board of directors of our companies aren't going to make complaints to the SEC and pressure them to do their jobs, or if the SEC is going to refuse to do their jobs, we can't just sit on our hands and wait for somebody to do something. We've got to take our own measures and safeguard our television, safeguard our homes, safeguard our shares of the stock by protecting the shareholders and protecting our rights to vote. And if somebody's not doing that, and I'm sure these individuals are more educated and experienced than I am, if they're not doing that, there's a reason, because it would be the easiest way to protect the shareholders in the company. If they're not doing it, It's because perhaps those board members were put into those positions by votes that were casted by the market makers on your behalf. Because if you didn't get a proxy to vote at the last 2 annual shareholder meetings, somebody voted for you and somebody voted somebody that they wanted in. Think about that.
I got a different analogy for you. It's equally good. Society, AMC, GME, all the meme stocks, BBIG, HYMC, they are this thing that's been happened. But I'll just go right into my analogy. Do you remember the queen who said, "Let them eat cake," and what happened to her?
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, they can't let that happen because they know.
And here's the interesting thing. Yeah. In general, here's the interesting thing of what I was saying this weekend in the call is if everybody goes out and just buys 1 share of AMC or 2 shares of AMC through computer share directly, they are guaranteed a proxy. So when Adam Aron sees a substantial increase in the number of voters out of nowhere, it's going to confirm that the brokers are taking your voting rights away from you. So what you want to do is you want to go out and everybody buys 1 share of AMC with computer share, which is nothing. It's basically all you're doing is securing an account with computer share in case you do decide to use it, which is smart anyways. So you have your 1 or 2 shares, you're guaranteed to get a proxy in your account from computer share before the annual happens. And that's one of the most important things that Adam Aron talked about is he hinted at that our voting rights were being diluted, that only 45% of retail voted. And if you didn't get a proxy to go speak to DK King, who was the proxy agent at the time. So General's completely right. Your vote is the power in the company. And this is part of why he distributed APE. I see Robert's coming back up.
You know, Spence, you're onto something. At first, when you said that about just getting at least 1 share, you know, I understood and I heard what you said, but I didn't see the inherent value in it. But now that you've said it a second time, I see what you mean, or maybe, you know, even additionally, how this actually could be a benefit. Because and the reason why I didn't think it had a greater value as much as it could have is because if you're only buying 1 share, you're only getting 1 additional proxy vote. Mm-hmm. You're not getting the full amount of proxy votes that you should have. But here's the thing. If you have 1 share with computer share and you have, let's say, 3,000 shares with Webull, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, whoever, I don't care. Well, I do care, but we're not branding over here. But let's say you have 3,000 shares somewhere else because you're just uncertain about DRSing or whatever it is. You're on the fence. But you do like what you get at least 1 share with computer share. Well, now when you get that proxy and you compare it to the fact that all these other brokerage firms haven't given you 1 proxy for your other 3,000 shares, well, hopefully if you're in the area of the shareholder meeting, you can walk into that door and say, here are my 3,001 votes. And they'll be like, no, I'm sorry, sir or madam, you only have 1 vote. No, here are my 3,001 votes. These are my shares. This is what I have. I was not provided my proxies. Whatever it is, You can start exposing it because that 1 share, a computer share, is your ticket into the door.
Yep. And here's the great thing. When you do this, say you do 1 or 2 shares with computer share and you get your proxy and all this is going on, you're going to see numbers change. Adam Aron said there's about 4 million shareholders with 120 shares average per holder. When this 4 million shareholder number comes to fruition or ends up being 6 to 10 million people per se, then there's going to be some big question raised by the board of directors. They're going to go, how come we have 5 million shareholders that all own at least 1 share with computer share and they're all voting, but we also have all these other votes coming from these brokerages? It's going to be data points that they can use to raise questions. And like you said, You know, the best thing about it is if you do one share with computer share or 2 shares, whatever, it's a 25 minimum dollar buy. So you're going to get like 3 shares. You're going to learn the computer share platform, which is the official transfer agent of AMC for a reason. You're going to learn the platform. You're going to have a backup go-to in case this thing does squeeze and your brokerages screw you. Computer share is a cash only account. So they're never at risk for, like a default or the word slip in my head, insolvency. What they do is they're not a brokerage, they're a transfer agent, right? You place an order with them and they take it and they go to multiple brokers across the spectrum and try to get you the best price. They get the share, then they pull it from the DTCC registration and they put it into direct book registration with AMC. And that way, your name is on the book as a shareholder in front of Adam Aron's eyes every earnings call. And if, like General said, you so choose to go to the annual meeting in person, you have a ticket to the front row and a voice in what's happening. And you can go up there and say, I have 3 shares DRS'd and I have 4,000 shares in my brokerage with Fidelity, of which I did not get a proxy for. I want to cast my vote for my 4,003 shares. That's exactly right.
You know what Spence just did here? He sold me on computer share because I've heard about computer share for a year plus, and I've heard the back and forth. And I'll be honest with you, I don't easily move my money around or my assets around unless I have the time to really look and dig into things. And there was so much back and forth. And I went to all the different communities, GME, AMC, and I wanted to weigh what people's thoughts were. And I wasn't too 100 on whether I should or not. And unless I'm 100, I won't. But what Spence sold me on is the fact that
all season long.
You know, a transfer agent is important. If you don't understand what a transfer agent is, you need to look it up. And that's important. I've heard Terrible say it before too. If they are the transfer agent registered with AMC Theaters, that has meaning. My concern was how liquid are my shares? How easily can I sell them if the squeeze comes? But like Spence said earlier, it's been 2 years. When is the squeeze coming? And if it comes, then you don't necessarily have to put all your shares in computer share, but at least have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shares there so that you can almost be guaranteed that you'll get a proxy directly from AMC because you're on their books. So that way you do have access to the party so that you can establish that, hey, I have these other shares that I didn't get a proxy for, and I do not want them voting on my behalf because I want to make my own votes. I'm here. Because if you don't understand, if you've never owned a home in a community association, what a proxy means is you are authorizing a third party to speak on your behalf for your ownership interest in a corporation. If you become present for that meeting where that individual, that third party individual has the right to speak on your behalf, that proxy is now dissolved. They no longer have the right to speak on your behalf. That's, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, but that's generally how proxies work. You can look into Black's Law to figure that out. So if I become present at a shareholder meeting, and let's say TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, whoever you go to, decides to cast votes for their specific people, their players that they want to put on the board to benefit their market managers, their Citadel, Susquehanna, whoever. And I appear at that meeting and I say, no, those proxies are now invalid. Those votes do not count. I'm casting my own votes. I'm not an attorney. This is not illegal advice, but that should stand. Your presence as a shareholder, the owner, stands more than your representative that you signed a proxy for. So I'm going to actually sign up for computer share. And if I remember you saying it earlier, Spence, you buy your shares and then you sign up. I'm going to go and do that because, it makes sense. I may not put all of my assets into computer share, but I'm definitely going to open up an account. And the reason why I feel it's been stifled for a year and a half is because they don't have a, hey, get 3 stocks if you sign up with Webull with my affiliate link down below, or get $10, if you sign up with Robinhood. That's the only reason why there's been so much controversy, in my opinion, that all these YouTubers or all these Twitter people haven't pushed it as much as they could have, because they weren't getting kickbacks through affiliate marketing, and they were getting it for Robinhood or Webull or Moomoo or whoever it was that you ended up going to through their affiliate link.
I denied 4 sponsors this month out of my email saying, can we sponsor you on your YouTube channel? I said, absolutely not. And I deleted them. You're exactly right. A lot of the tubers, a lot of them are younger guys. And once that money starts coming in, it changes you. It changes your perspective, and it compromises your opinions. It compromises your agenda. And good for them for making their money. No harm, no foul, whatever. But when this is all over, when this thing squeezes and we make our money, I'm not going to be on YouTube doing this. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of space calls. I'm going to be down in Mexico, man. I'm going to be enjoying myself. So why they don't push DRS is because, 1, they're too lazy to look up what's actually going on with direct registration. And 2, the community was fudding it out. So it was popular to say DRS bad. They were getting views from it. DRS is my least viewed videos on YouTube, which again, I posted how to buy AMC through computer share to the top of the call. It's a short video. It's really, really simple for you to do.
I actually have a theory, opinion theory about what's happening with all the YouTubers, because it feels like over the last 3 months, maybe even 4, the ones that had significant, decent information have been picked off kind of one by one. And I really think it's the Department of Justice maybe even going to them saying, we're confirming this. Hey, this is going to happen, but we need to be able to afford to slow it down, and basically to slow the FOMO down when it starts. Because when it really starts and somebody goes under, because you're not going to know when they're going to go under. They don't even know who it's going to be. It could be some random small firm in Idaho, and it just sets off a chain. But once it happens, that FOMO is going to come hard. And if those YouTubers aren't there giving their very large voice out there to push it out, it's going to be fewer people.
And here's the thing. What you said is right. What's going to happen is the funds who wanted to short AMC, they got shares from Robinhood, Bank of America, whoever, while they're naked short and they don't know it. When their haircut changes, they're going to get absolutely freaking crushed. It's going to cause price movement when they're forced to close, and then it's going to trickle actually up through the brokers to the market makers that have been selling these phantom shares into the market. And this is everything that happened with Overstock. That's why the STO dividend, the STO security token worked, because it cornered the people who were selling the stock short and didn't know it. So these market makers are going to have to float a really big bill when it comes due. The amount of securities they've sold short, that they've sold that they don't own is massive. Citadel alone reported $65 billion. So that's just Citadel. That's crazy. Diva, what's up, Miss Diva?
Hey, how you doing, Spence? Hey, Froggy, I see you. PJ, Sugar Kush, Mike, GZ, I miss you guys. But anyway, it's a question. If someone's asking you on YouTube, I don't think you see their question. They're saying, Spence, can you answer yes or no? Wait a minute.
Thanks, because there's so many chats going, I can't keep up with it. I'm not good at YouTube.
It says, Spence, can you answer yes or no? Does computer share allow you to DRS your ape?
Yes, you can DRS your ape, but you cannot buy ape directly from computer share, but you can DRS it.
That was my question, because the person keeps asking. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. There's so many comments, I can't even keep up with it. It's just crazy. I don't know how these other tubers do it. I guess that's why they want super chats, so they only answer the questions that are from $10 fans. So I don't know. If I'm doing a recorded video in the daytime, I try to hit all the responses from YouTube, which I appreciate everybody giving me in the chat. But when there's 335 people, I have no idea what's heads or tails. So that was from Josh Johnson. I see that now. So Josh Johnson, yes, you can DRS your ape, but you cannot buy it directly from ComputerShare because AMC, the company, decided to make it that way, which Tara asked me earlier, and I believe is because they didn't want direct sales of ape through ComputerShare happening at current market prices while they were doing a share offering. I think they want to keep the share offering on negotiated deals through direct transactions and off the market. That's my personal opinion. Which I'm waiting for John Merriweather from AMC to email back if he can on that. He might not be able to talk about it. So, but we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. I personally don't have anything else of value to this to say in this space call. I wanted to thank Jack again very much for coming up, asking Adam Aron the questions in person, posting the confirmation online of who he is, and for AMC Trapper coming up and corroborating the story, saying, yes, that's what happened. I was there. I saw Jack there. So anybody who was coming after Jack, I'm sorry, you should probably back off and or apologize, in my opinion. And the fact that we have a group of responsible, educated investors going up to Adam Aron and respectfully asking these questions on behalf of the shareholders, I almost guarantee you Adam Aron was like, awesome. Finally, we have people that are not flinging poo across the room and or retweeting nonstop nonsense from meme lords and being real shareholders and like general talking about proxy votes. Adam Aron can only do so much with the company if the institutions are voting for us. They are cornering him in the vote, and we need to take back control of that. So, Tara or PJ, if you guys have any closeout statements or if anybody has anything they want to say before I sign off here, please feel free.
I'll defer to Tara. I'm good.
All right.
Thanks for hosting this room, and I'm super bullish.
Yes,
too,
thank
Larry.
you, Spence. I appreciate everything you do.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for the opportunity to speak today.
Honestly, seeing people step up this week, Larry, Jack, General, AMC Trapper, PJ, Tara, Froggy, Al, everybody down in the chat down there stepping up, asking questions, and getting serious. We now have an adult table. There's adults in the room, and I think we're getting ready to see some really good stuff happen with AMC. So I appreciate you all very much.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I think
All
that
right.
we
Thanks for
garnered a group of people that will
thanks
get
for
it
spreading
done.
the word, the awareness. Thanks for holding the space calls. Thanks for putting it out there on YouTube. This is exactly what we need. We need to elevate the conversation.
Dropped off, General. I think we lost him.
He's there. He doesn't have a mic anymore. He says speaker. So
I think he was saying elevate the conversation, and I think he's correct. I think we've been in this long enough. We're all owed from January 28th. We're all owed from August 22nd. This should have squeezed multiple times already. And I think we now have the power and the pressure we need on the market. We've got the CEO of Virtue coming into threads and tweeting at Al from Boston. The guy climbed out from underneath of his rock and exposed himself. A multi-millionaire, billionaire coming out and tweeting in a group of retail investors because he was triggered is what Ken Griffin did when Citadel went on that tweet storm a year ago. And it's exposure, man. That's what it is. So everybody's been doing some amazing things. If anybody has anything of what they think is value, please DM me and we'll talk about it. That's what the space calls are going to be centered around from now on, is elevating the conversation, talking about the good ideas, questioning what is happening, and getting to the there of this play in the market. So I appreciate y'all very much.
I was going to say one more thing, Spence. If anybody is trying to DRS, don't get frustrated. ComputerShare takes time. Have your patience.
If you're transferring, all you have to do is ask your broker, can you transfer some of my shares to DRS? and they will walk you through it unless they're one of the bad brokers who is going to try to discourage you from it. And if they discourage you from it, you then have your confirmation that DRS is definitely making an impact. Now, if you're with Fidelity, all you got to do is call them and say, I'd like to DRS some of my AMC or ape, and they will do it for you automatically. It takes 7 days. You'll start getting confirmations from ComputerShare. They will give your data to ComputerShare. If you want to start a ComputerShare account yourself first, you have to go to ComputerShare, click purchase stock on the front page. And as you're making your first purchase, you will put your information in, which will create your account. The most important thing, make sure your address is 100% correct. If you're starting an account with ComputerShare first, make sure your address that you gave ComputerShare matches the address specifically to the dot, to the T, with your broker address. Because if you have a broker address that's different than your ComputerShare address for your home, they'll make you 2 accounts, which you can merge later, but it's kind of a pain. So make sure your address is identical with ComputerShare and your brokers. That's all I got, guys. I appreciate everybody coming. Jack, General, AMC Trapper, Sam, Larry, PJ, Tara, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to kick rocks, and I hope we see some more green tomorrow, and I hope everybody has a fantastic night.
Thanks, Spence.
Thanks, Spence.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Later. Right on, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hope everybody has a really good night. Please like, subscribe, share this on all of your platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Insta, whatever it is, Snapchat, I don't care. I don't even know if you can share it on Snapchat. Truth Social, Rumble. Get the message out, guys. We're on to something big here. We have phenomenal people coming into the chat. We now have the adult table in the room. I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking on people. I just want to get to the there of this play. And now we're showing Wall Street that we have a serious group of people and investors in this play that are going to look for answers and take action. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for coming. Again, please like and sub. You guys rock. Getting closer to the end of the month where we're going to be kicking out some pretty amazing gift cards to AMC in the next space call we have past October 28th. You guys have a great night. Froggy Stomach's out.